What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself. Yours truly, back again with more Monster Hunter Generations gameplay, and today we're going to be fighting one of a lot of people's favorite monsters, like bar none, hands down, the Zinogre. Now, I will admit Zinogre is a very fun monster to fight. He isn't necessarily my favorite monster to fight, not necessarily my favorite monster, not quite my top 10, but he's still a pretty cool monster, I will say, nonetheless. Like, right off the jump, I'll tell you this, his equipment is fantastic. It has always been fantastic. It has never not been fantastic. So if you're trying to get it, then totally go and get it. Like if you're on the fence, just go and get it. Whatever you want to get from the Zinogre, just do it. It's that good. But Zinogre was actually the flagship monster for that of Portable Third. So if you play Monster Hunter 3 Portable MH3 Portable Third, Monster Hunter 3 Portable Third, the one that actually didn't come to America but kind of stayed in Japan and was on the PSP, and I think they ported over to the PS3 for the HD version, then hey, you know this guy. He's actually appeared in every Monster Hunter game since its inception, so if you played any Monster Hunter since 3 Ultimate, if you're on the American fronts of course, then you fought this guy at least once. But with that being said, let's move over to the main nitty-gritty of this. Let's talk about his weaknesses, of course. Now, we'll say this, his weakness is... It's kind of hard to fight this guy. I will say this, because the only weapon... Like, I'm just thinking right now, the only weapon that you can actually fight him effectively with would be something of Gammoth. And Gammoth is probably the only ice monster I can remember coming across. Excuse me, Lagombi. But, I don't know. Pick one. Lagombi or Gammoth, attack or element. It's going to be what you can use to fight this guy. He has a huge weakness to that of ice. I mean, his secondary weakness is water. I personally didn't have an ice weapon. I need to really upgrade some Lagombi stuff, but the Lagombi Lance is the only weapon I have from him. And I need to upgrade it even more because it only has like 80 attack. And there's a part that's keeping me back. And I guess I'm just too lazy to go and get it. But I think I'm just going to hold out for like Yukon Los or maybe even like Snow Baron or something. I don't know. Anyway, bring some ice, but in a pinch you can totally roll with some water. Now, I recommend ice because it's his biggest weakness. He has a huge weakness to it. I mean, even so much so that that weakness is displayed in his armor. But his armor has really cool abilities like latent power and actually elemental crit, which is pretty cool. Like that's dope. So I mean, elemental crit is cool. I mean, it's not the dopest ability out there, but I mean, it's very nice. His weapons do have a very excuse me, have a very nice attack and very nice element to it. So if elemental crit running his stuff ain't gonna be too bad. I mean, ain't really gonna be too bad. I ain't mad at that. But he has a weakness of ice, and he has a negative ice resistance ability on his armor as well. So I mean, totally running some ice if you want to fight this guy, and also be wary of ice monsters when fighting him as well if you're gonna actually make the armor. But his weapons, like I said before, are very good. At the end of the day, I will say, if anything, he is the absolute balance between laggy weapons who have the high attack, Astalos weapons who have the high element, high affinity, pretty much everything that's not attack, you know what I mean, sharpness and whatnot, raw sharpness. Granted, pretty much all the thunder weapons will get a very sizable amount of white sharpness, but it's up to you if you want to actually use sharpness 1 or sharpness 2 or whatever. But Zinogre is that nice balance in between. Him and Rajang are in my opinion, kind of neck and neck in terms of balance. If you want thunder element, or you want like thunder attack, excuse me, not thunder attack, or the element, or the affinity, or the sharpness, they're both, either one of those guys will be good for you. Just pick a one. It doesn't matter. Although you might pick Zinogre because his weapons are cooler looking, and Rajang's a little harder to get. But I mean, if you're about that challenge and you're about that balance as well, Rajang might be the guy for you. Regardless, though, let's move over a little bit. Let's talk about his. We talked about all that. Let's talk about his movesets. Okay, so if you fought Zinogre before, nothing has changed. Okay, absolutely nothing has changed. But if you haven't fought Zinogre before, let's break it down. This is another monster with different phases, or different, like, not necessarily phases, but different, like, forms, I guess you could say. You have standard Zinogre. Alright, who is the Zinogre that isn't charged with electricity. You can see his fur on his back and his chest and everything, and it's all like spiked up. You can see there's spikes on his body, I mean, even more so than before. This is his charged form. This is Zinogre charged. Now, Zinogre doesn't actually roar and get angry unless he's in his charged form. Now, I will say that there might be a chance for him to get angry in his standard form, but I haven't really seen it yet. So just for the most part, you're going to see him get angry in his charged form. Now, when he's in his charged form and he's angry, that's when he cranks everything up to 11. because in his charge form, he's already what most people would consider angry. And he does more damage, has more access to different attacks, he's faster, etc, etc. Now, when he's angry, which is something he rarely actually gets, his white, glow turns like a blue, and everything is turned all the way up. I mean, he gets really crazy, so watch for that. In his standard form, though, he will do fairly par for the course attacks for a monster of his body type. He will, he'll charge at you. He can actually slam down with his hands to do damage that way. He'll do headbutts, things like that. He can do a tail slam. You necessarily won't do it too often in his standard form, but it's when he goes into his charge form is when he really gets to act a little bit crazy. Now, he will try to charge himself up over and over again. He'll summon the electric energy around him or within his body to actually do this. Now, you can actually hit him like I'm doing right now to do a lot of damage when he's trying to do this, because he will do this. He will try and charge. He doesn't just charge for free. He's going to try and charge, and every time you try and really get him to charge, you can just damage him if you will. But you have to be careful, though, because if you're good with fighting Zinogre, you can count how many full charges he gets in. I think if he gets two or three, I think it's 3 full charges. When he tries to charge his body up, he will be completely charged up and he'll go into charge form Zinogre. But your best bet is to actually do as much damage as you can, break a part off of his body, be it one of his arms or his horns or whatever, to prematurely get him out of the charge, so that way he doesn't charge up too quickly. But that being said, if you want to use a weapon, I actually will recommend, smaller type weapons. I mean, greatsword is pretty nice as well. Hammer, I never had too much success with the hammer, but I will say hammer and hunting horn experts are going to be fine because it's their weapon part, of course. But I would totally, if I could pick one weapon to fight the guy with, that is without a doubt the longsword, because you can do big damage when he's trying to charge. Okay, his body is just long enough for you to actually do a lot of good stuff with the longsword. He has verticality to his body, meaning he's actually kind of tall when he's strutting around, and him being a proud monster that he is, he will strut, so you can get that vertical hit without any real problem. He moves quite a bit, so you're going to need a little bit of mobility on your side as well. So in my personal opinion, I feel like the longsword is the best weapon to fight this monster with. Now, with that being said, if you want to use particular hunter arts or hunter styles even, you can absolutely get away with adept, but I would pretty much recommend, some aerial right here. I mean, his attacks, they aren't too quick, so you don't really need adept too much. You can just stand a roll and get out of the way. But I will say aerial to actually keep him locked down would be a great thing. And on top of that, he's not a very healthy monster, so the quicker you actually do the good damage to him, the better, right? Well, with that being said, everyone, it's been your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself. This is all the information I have for you guys in terms of fighting Zinogre. If there's more stuff in there, please go ahead and share with the people in the comment section, because I am only human and I don't get everything. These are just quick overview videos. If I'm going to do super in-depth videos, I will do those later when I have all sorts of swiggity swaggity graphics and overlays and dope stuff and information coming out of my ears, and the production value is going to be like much better. Right now, we're trying to knock out all these monsters, and I think we're doing a pretty good job of that. But regardless, it's been your boy, Dak. I said Dak 908. Dak 908. AK, whatever. May the Desire Center forever be in your favor.